Welcome to the webinar for the Administrator Certification Bureau, or ACB. Please know this webinar will be recorded. My name is Jennifer, and I'm an analyst in ACB. I'll be facilitating today's session. Once I cover a few housekeeping details, I'll hand it over to our speakers.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to ACB's Spring Webinar. My name is Wendy Sorianata, and I am the Bureau Chief of ACB. Please be aware that the recording and slides for this webinar will be made available on our website, and we will notify administrators, vendors, and our community via the wire when those resources are ready for viewing. For those attending this webinar, please note this is not a training, and attending this webinar does not satisfy any initial certification training program, ICTP, or continuing education training program, CETP, training requirements. Please note that while we have held separate webinars for administrators and training vendors in the past, today's webinar is a combined administrator and vendor webinar. Including both the administrator and vendor communities as part of one engagement was intentional and allows us to share information for our entire community. We will inform you about which topics apply to vendors and which apply to administrators as we share updates. In today's webinar, we will go over the items noted on the agenda, which include updates on application processing timelines and website updates. Next, Abigail Pangilanan, the supervisor of the Administrator Certification Processing Unit, will provide you with portal updates and certification reminders, as well as some policy updates. Then Ramon Sanchez, the supervisor of the Vendor Support and Review Unit, will provide you with updates regarding the Facility Management System, FMS, and the CCLD public portal. We will then conclude with the question and answer portion for this webinar. I would like to thank the Central Training Bureau and the ACB team working behind the scenes to provide support for today's webinar. ACB intends to continue to host regular webinars and foster meaningful engagements with our community partners. We recognize the value of these webinars in sharing information and receiving feedback from administrators and providers. Before we move on to application processing timelines and trends, we'd like to introduce you to our teams. Next slide, please. ACB is comprised of 3 teams or units. Our Administrator Certification Processing Unit, ACPU, is led by Abby Pangilanan. Abby's team is responsible for processing our administrator certification applications, both initials and renewals. Our Administrator Examination Unit, AEU, is led by Suk Randawa. Suk's team is responsible for scheduling our exam registrations and proctoring our exams. When his team is not focused on exam proctoring, they support the ACPU and process administrator applications. Our Vendor Support and Review Unit, VSRU, is led by Ramon Sanchez. Ramon's team reviews and approves vendor courses and ensures vendors are providing training as approved by ACB. Thank you, team, for your support. Now let's move on to our application processing times. During our last webinar in February, we shared that ACB has improved our processing times from approximately 2.5 months to approximately 1.5 months. Since then, ACB is pleased to report that we have further reduced our processing times to approximately 30 days for both our initial and renewal applications. As a result, we are now monitoring our processing dates in terms of days instead of months. We had a record low processing time for both initial and renewal applications in March. We were processing initial applications within approximately 27 days and renewal applications within 23 days. ACB is proud of this accomplishment as we continue to meet and exceed our target goal of processing applications within 90 days. Applications are processed in the order they are received. However, please note, if you submit an incomplete application, this will further delay the processing of your application depending on what information is missing and how quickly you provide the missing information to ACB. Next slide, please. To see where ACB is with our current processing dates, you can go to our website and select the application status link as shown on the left-hand side of the screen. Our website currently shows as of May 15th, 2026, we are processing initial applications received the week of April 2nd, 2026, and renewal applications received the week of April 17th, 2026. Next, we will go over our website updates. Next slide, please. The first website update I will share has been made to the ACB website landing page. Specifically, this update was made to the navigation link for the online application portal. As a reminder, the Administrator Certification online application portal is available for Administrator Certification renewals. To make that distinction, we have added renewals only to the text of the navigation link as shown on the screen. Please be advised that although the electronic submission of initial administrator applications is not part of the current portal, the upcoming CCLD public portal will include functionality for initial applications. We will share more information regarding the upcoming CCLD public portal during the latter part of this webinar. Next slide, please. Another update we have made to the ACB website comes in the form of a layout change to the exam FAQ. Previously, the exam FAQ included a layout in which all questions and responses appeared on the page. That resulted in a long web page that oftentimes required significant scrolling to find a specific question. To reduce the amount of information on the screen and make it easier to find questions you are looking for answers to, we have implemented a new layout which only shows the questions. Once you have found a question you are looking for an answer to, simply click on the question to expand the field and the answer will display. Please be advised that the navigation links at the top of the page are unchanged. Next slide, please. Here is an example of what it looks like when you click a question to show the answer to the question. As shown on the screen, the question, "What is the Administrator Certification Exam?" has been clicked. Below the question, you will see the answer. This change makes it so only answers related to questions you are looking for appear. Of course, you can still use the navigation links to jump to specific areas of the FAQ. But with this update, the page is shorter and easier to navigate. Next slide, please. Like the exam FAQ, the Administrator FAQ page has also been updated to reflect the new expandable layout. As shared on the last slides, you will click a question to reveal the answer. To our vendor community, please be advised that this change will also be coming to the vendor FAQ shortly. We hope this change makes navigating the FAQs and finding answers to your questions easier. With that, I will pass it over to Abby, who will share some portal updates. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Wendy. Before moving on to certification reminders, we would like to share an update regarding the Administrator Online Application Portal, also known as the portal. Since portal launch, we have been tracking and monitoring portal usage. This chart provides a visual representation of the percentage of renewal applications submitted through the portal since February 2026. On average, a total of 1,000 certifications are eligible for renewal on a monthly basis. As you can see,
portal submissions accounted for between 65 to 82% of total submissions during the last 3 months, or an average of 74%. As shown on this slide, ACB experienced a notable increase in portal usage for March 2026. March 2026 also included all-time highs for the following: credit requests or CEU submitted via the portal, renewal applications submitted via the portal, and payment submitted via the portal. We hope that these trends continue. Applying through the portal is a more efficient way for ACB to process your application and makes it easier for administrators to submit and track their renewals. Again, we encourage all administrators to submit your recertification through the portal. If you no longer have your login credentials or need assistance with getting access to your account, please refer to the Logging into the Portal section of the user manual. If you still need help, contact ACB via phone or email, and a staff member can assist you. Now, we will go over some certification reminders. Next slide, please. A common inquiry we receive from administrators is that they are unable to upload their certificates of completion to the appropriate certification cycle in the portal. As a reminder, administrators are eligible to renew their administrator certificates via the portal when they are within 90 days of their certificate expiration date. As you're renewing your administrator certification in the portal, here are the steps that you will take. Start by clicking on Manage Certifications in the navigation bar of the portal, as shown as the first arrow on this slide. You will then click the red Renew button and complete the application for Administrator Certification LIC 9214. Once you complete the fillable portion of the application, you will scroll down to the section titled Payment Information to enter your card information and pay the processing fee. Once you have completed the application and paid the fee, you will click the Renew button at the bottom of your screen. After clicking the Renew, you may now upload your continuing education units or CEUs by selecting education credits as shown by the second arrow on your screen. Please note, if these steps are done out of order, you will not see your next certification cycle in the portal. We will go over what this may look like on the next slide. Next slide, please. The first image, as shown by the arrow above, provides an example of when an administrator sees their current certification cycle only, which occurs when you have not yet submitted an application and application processing fee for your next certification cycle. The second image, as shown by the arrow, is an example of when you see your next certification cycle, which occurs after submitting your administrator application and processing fee. Your next certification cycle is a cycle you need to select to upload your CEUs for recertification. Please be sure to select the correct certification cycle when uploading proof of completion of CEUs to the portal. Uploading CEUs to the wrong certification cycle will lead in a notice of incomplete application and processing delays. Next slide, please. Now, let's go over some certification reminders related to hours of instruction. This slide contains helpful information for both administrators and vendors. Per regulations, the department will not count more than 10 hours of instructions in a single day towards continuing education requirements. For administrators, this means you should not take more than 10 CEUs in any given day. Any CEUs exceeding 10 in a single day will not count towards your renewal. For vendors, This means being mindful that participants are not registering for more than 10 CEUs in any given day. Next slide, please. The information on this next slide will be specific to administrators. Let's talk about where to view ACB notices and correspondences. Renewal applicant correspondence is sent by the ACB via the portal. On the left-hand side is an image of the applicant dashboard. As you click on the Message Center to view the applicant inbox as shown by the first arrow. On the right-hand side is an image of the applicant inbox. You can click on the notice sent by ACB to view it as shown by the second arrow. Examples of notices that are sent via the portal include initial notice of incomplete application, final notice of incomplete application, notice of approval, notice of denied application, notice of appeal denied, and notice of appeal approved. As a friendly reminder, every administrator must have a unique email address to ensure they receive correspondence specific to their administrator certificate. Business partners, friends, and family who are also administrators may not have the same email address or username. Again, email addresses and usernames cannot be shared. ACB highly encourages renewal applicants to view ACB notices in your portal account for important application status information, including due dates of when to respond to ACB by. Failure to respond to ACB in a timely manner may result in processing delays or a denial of your application. Now let's go over some policy updates. Next slide, please. We would like to share a recent pin relevant to both administrators and vendors. For training vendors, please be sure to review the policy updates presented during today's webinar to ensure that course content is current and to provide relevant resources to administrators. Pin 25-11-ASC Adult Care Facilities Reference Guides to Administrator, Staff, and Volunteer Training Requirements was released on December 22nd, 2025. The PIN announces reference guides outlining training requirements for administrators, staff, and volunteers in adult care facilities and summarizes training requirements by facility type. The quality and timeliness of facility staff training has a direct impact on the kind of care and supervision clients receive in an adult care facility. To support compliance and consistency, the Adult and Senior Care Program has provided licensees with courtesy reference guides summarizing current training requirements. The reference guides available on the Community Care Licensing Division or CCLD website under the Adult Care Licensing Resources for Providers page covers the training requirements for administrators, staff, and volunteers with detailed information on content, frequency, and regulatory and statutory authority. In addition to the link, PIN 25-11-ASC, we are providing a link to the Adult Care Licensing Resources for Providers page where individual reference guides can be found. Please take some time to review the PIN and applicable guides. Please be advised that this PIN applies to adult care facilities. As a reminder, PIN 23-16-ASC, which announced reference guides outlining training requirements as they relate to residential care facilities for the elderly, was previously released. We will now be providing a link to the PIN as a reminder. If you have any questions about this new PIN, please contact your local Adult and Senior Care Regional Office. Next slide, please. The following update applies to short-term residential therapeutic programs or STRTP. PIN 26-02-CCC CRP, announcing online portal for short-term residential therapeutic programs, manual restraint incident reporting systems, was released on February 13, 2026. The PIN informs current and prospective STRTP licensees of the STRTP Manual Restraint Incident Reporting System, MRIRS, also known as MIRRS. This newly developed STRTP online portal for manual restraint incident reporting to the CCLD Children's Residential Program, or CRP. The online portal is designed to comply with requirements established by the passage of Senate Bill 1043, which enacted Health and Safety Code 1180.55. CPIN 24-16-CRP 2024 chaptered legislation, and to facilitate the submission and review of manual restraint incident reports in a timely and efficient manner. The STRTP Interim Licensing Standards, or ILS, are currently being updated to reflect these changes. Effective April 1st, 2026, the new online portal will serve as the reporting system for STRTP licensees who are required to submit an incident report for each use of the manual restraints to CCLD as specified in the STRTP ILS sections 87061I and 87095.61. To access the STRTP mirrors, please visit the California Department of Social Services or Department SB 1043 website. It is recommended that STRTP licensees bookmark this site for ease of use. Once on the website, you must enter your user identification and password to access the reporting portal. Please review PIN 26-02-CRP for additional information and resources. For additional information and resources related to SB 1043, please visit the department's SB 1043 website. If you have any questions about this PIN, please contact SB 1043 support at dss.ca.gov. Next up is Ramon, who will be providing updates on the Facility Management System, also known as FMS. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. In this portion of our webinar, we'll provide a recap and more details on the Facility Management System, or FMS, and the CCLD public portal. Next slide, please. On this slide, we want to emphasize an adjusted timeline for Facility Management System Release 1 Go Live from June 2026 to August 2026, per the most recent current approved FMS Release 1 Integrated Master Schedule. To recap, we completed validation of our business requirements in 2025 for our administrator and vendor processes. This confirmed the functionality available to our administrators and vendors in the CCLD public portal. Currently, we are in the design and development phase. This is a phase that we have extended through the end of May to confirm we are integrating recently enacted policies affecting other areas within the Community Care Licensing Division. At this time, our system developers will continue to create the CCLD public portal and processes relevant to administrators, vendors, as well as external partners when it comes to account creation and invoicing. Starting in June, we will be conducting internal user acceptance testing of the CCLD public portal. As system development continues, some features may be scheduled for a release at a later time as part of future enhancements. The dates provided reflect the current projected timeline for the system release. However, Release timing and system functionality may be adjusted as needed based on testing outcomes and other operational considerations. Internally, we anticipate training our Bureau on the functionality available to administrators and vendors through the CCLD public portal, as well as functionality available to staff through the facility management system starting in July. From mid to late August of this year, we will begin offering training to administrators and vendors via webinars and job aids, so you feel confident in using the CCLD public portal to complete processes. You will still be able to accomplish these activities on paper, but we will encourage you to create accounts with the new CCLD public portal to provide more streamlined digital options. Next slide, please. For those of you that haven't been able to join us during previous webinars, let's recap what's included in Release 1. As a reminder, you will still be able to complete and submit administrator and vendor applications via paper or manually. However, we highly encourage you to create a CCLD public portal account to submit your applications and course approval requests electronically. Regarding account access and electronic communications, you will be able to create an online account and have access to all functionality online. Our first release will focus on supporting you with paying fees for applications, renewals, and other financial transactions. Regarding financial functionality, we'll have additional options you'll be able to use, such as electronic check, credit card, and debit card. With your online account, you'll be able to pay all CCLD fees related to applications, renewals, and course approval requests. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to share more details related to account and financial management. Next slide. With our transition to the CCLD public portal, once you create an online account or have your active account transferred, you'll have more opportunities to provide and update your information. This will give you more control within your account. This also means you will be able to have saved information when you are ready to renew an application. If you sign up for an account and opt into electronic communications, you will consistently receive updates about your account. These updates may include the status of an application, confirmation that we have received your continuing education information as an administrator, or notification that we have received a roster if you are a vendor. Overall, we will provide transparency about your account and what is happening. For management of fees, you'll be able to see payment history and transactions in your account, and if you opt in to electronic communications, you'll also receive emails about these transactions. We'll take a look and go through an example on the next slide. Next slide, please. As you can see, here's an example of what the screen will look like for online payments. You can see from this vendor payment screen for course management that it will list the total fees to be paid based on what is being requested. Once you complete the payment information fields, this transaction will be stored in your account under payment history, so you can keep track of these transactions. Next slide, please. Now, we'll move on to some of our vendor processes. As we mentioned, the CCLD public portal gives you the option to complete all vendor processes online. This means you will be able to submit initial and renewal applications. As you go through the system, it will prompt you to provide information at each step of the process. What this means is that you will be supporting and providing all required information, so when your application is submitted, it will have all of the information needed for our team to review. We anticipate this will cut down on incomplete applications. When it comes to renewals, if you have an online account with us through the CCLD public portal, this will make it simpler for you to renew as well. The system will provide automatic notifications of your upcoming renewal and save your information if you have an existing profile. Again, we see this as a huge benefit to simplifying the process. For vendor courses, You'll be able to upload and manage all your information as a vendor. This will all be within your control. You'll also be able to submit your course approval requests, course schedules, course rosters, and be able to manage course instructors yourself through the system. Next slide, please. Much like before, we'll provide a little more detail on what some of these items mean. Next slide, please. Here are a few more details about the CCLD public portal that we are excited about. It will provide you more control and more prompting through the system to provide the right information. As you work through the system, it will give you notifications when something is missing or incomplete. This helps you provide a more complete application with all steps accounted for. Our teams will still review submissions to confirm they are correct and we have all of the required information. It will be easier to address mistakes before information is submitted, as there is always a chance for you to preview your information before submitting. Additionally, as you apply in our CCLD public portal or complete activities which require payment, the system clearly indicates the amount due and brings you to an invoicing page. On the next slide, we'll look at a few different views to show you what we mean. Next slide, please. When we look at this slide, the first image to the left shows the course management view as previously discussed. You will be able to request course approval, select the type of course, and edit information related to the course. The system will guide you through the required information. On the right-hand side is an example of how the system shows that you have upcoming renewals due. If you opt into electronic communications, you will receive an email that provides notification and sends reminders of your deadlines. Our last image below is an example of what it looks like when something is missing. In this case, it is a missing form notification for the LIC 9141. Again, these are example screens for you to get a feel of how the system will look when it is ready for release. Next slide, please. Let's do the same for administrator certification and continuing education functionality and what you can expect. Next slide. As part of Release 1 functionality, the CCLD public portal gives you the option to complete administrator processes online. For applications, we've made it possible to submit your initial certification and renewals online. You'll also be able to select and register for your administrator exam. Lastly, initial certification training program certificates will be accepted online as well. For CEUs, you will be able to submit CEU certificates of completion to the CCLD public portal under your account. Starting 90 days from your certificate expiration date, you may upload your CEUs as you complete them or upload them all at once. Next slide, please. When it comes to administrator certification exam scheduling, it'll be easier to view upcoming dates as our system will automatically present you with options within the required window of time. With exam updates, it'll be similar to application updates if you opt in. Notifications will automatically be sent when you schedule exams, and you'll be notified when results are available. Next slide, please. Here are some sneak peeks into our improved portal. On the left-hand side, you'll see a screen demonstrating what it looks like to add a new course. It's straightforward to add the course approval number, upload your course completion certificate, and when you attended the course. Once this is complete, the system will route it to ACB so we may review your submission. On the right-hand side, you'll see an example of course history under completed education that demonstrates how many hours have been submitted and how many have been approved. We hope to continue to share sneak peeks of our system ahead of the functionality release. Next slide, please. Finally, let's finish with upcoming provider information notices or PINs. Previously released by CCLD was PIN 25-11-CCLD, which notified our administrators of the contract to Accenture to build our new internal facility management system and the CCLD public portal. Upcoming, there is another pin to be released which will provide more detail around the functionality available to administrators and vendors for the first release of functionality in August. Next slide, please. As we close out, we will continue to act as your point of contact and communicate with you through webinars and the wire. If you haven't signed up, please reach out to us. Lastly, and importantly, we are hoping to release our DSS webpage on the CCLD public portal very soon. This will contain key communications, updates on training, frequently asked questions, and more. This will give you another avenue to check for information. Next slide, please. Are there any questions we can answer or take back to our CCLD public portal team? If we don't have a chance to answer your question or you have a later question, please email ccldfmsinfo@dss.ca.gov or communicate with our team. I will now turn it over to Jen to provide contact information for ACB. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramon. So you took some time navigating the ACB website and still have a question left unanswered. How do you get a hold of us? As seen on the screen, ACB provides several avenues to get in contact with the program. One way to contact ACB is via telephone at 916-653-9300. The ACB mainline is open Monday through Wednesday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. Alternatively, you may contact ACB via email as shown on the screen. For questions regarding administrator exams, you may contact the Administrator Examination Unit at examregistration@dss.ca.gov. For questions regarding administrator applications, you may contact the Administrator Certification Processing Unit at admincertinfo@dss.ca.gov. For questions regarding administrator training, you may contact the Vendor Support and Review Unit at acsvendorinfo@dss.ca.gov. Emails specific to an administrator certification application can expect a reply within 3 business days. Please know that email inquiries with general questions about ACB or the online application portal are referred to access online resources for answers to general questions.
Okay, sounds like Abby agreed with your response. Thank you, Sook. We are pretty much out of time, so if I didn't have a chance to get to your question live, please note to go to our FAQs. Hopefully your question will be answered within one of our FAQs. Otherwise, if after referring to the FAQs you still have your outstanding question or it hasn't been answered, please email us at one of our mailboxes. So that concludes today's webinar. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. We truly appreciate you taking time out of your day and for allowing us to share important updates with you. So we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. Thank you so much for attending.